Tennis. It is your round 7 Sunday of the OPL. My name is Michael Hingersing, and I'm joined here at the desk by, on the end there, support player for the Direwolves, Mitchell Destiny Shaw, friend of the show, and also, for what I'm sure will be a stellar debut, it is Curtis Sharp-Morgan, coach of the Direwolves. How are you feeling after the absolute massive win that's put you guys top of the table again yesterday?
Yeah, feeling great. It's always good to be back on the top of the table. So, yeah.
Yeah, yesterday was a very good day. 2-0 for AV, 2-0 for us. So
Yeah,
back on the
stars
top.
aligned.
Stars aligned. I believed.
How did you guys celebrate last night after the win?
We actually went out for dinner for Richard's birthday. Oh, Fantix, sorry. Fantix's birthday.
Happy birthday to Fantix
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
I saw you posted a photo of him sleeping on a plane, Destiny.
Yeah,
Classic trolling.
He's a very sleepy mid laner. He wasn't awake when I left this morning, and I couldn't even say happy birthday to him. So I felt bad. So I had to shoot out a tweet.
Excellent stuff. Well, speaking of that win, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's games. AV beat Legacy 2-0 in quite an upset, but then Direwolves were able to take back the top of the table, beating Regicide 2-0. Today, we're going to see Abyss take on Chiefs and TM take on Sin. We dare to dream if there'll be more upsets today, Destiny. I mean, it could happen, right? It could happen.
It could happen, definitely. Abyss, they nearly beat Chiefs last time.
Absolutely.
They got to the Nexus and just couldn't finish it.
There were super minions on the Nexus. They weren't able to close it out. Well, let's take a look at this first matchup. Chiefs versus Abyss. And Sharp, it's been a bit of a struggle for Abyss the last couple of weeks. They beat AV, but then they've had some rough matches since then. So what do you think are the strengths of Abyss's roster right now?
Yeah, well, I would actually go to the extent to say that Abyss have some quite strong individual players on their team. They've got Luch, who's renowned to be a great solo queue player. They've got Pabu, young mechanics right there. It'll be interesting to see how they push their advantages throughout the early stages of the game. And given Seb's early jungle pressure in the picks like Elise, these picks like Elise and Gragas, to see how they push that advantage through and get Luch and Pabu those early advantages.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the last time when this matchup happened, the mid lane and jungle duo actually beat out Swiffer and Spooks there. They pretty much ran circles around them, and they got a really good lead in the early game. So I think this game very much relies on draft, getting them the right matchups, getting them the Syndra, getting them the Elise, and hopefully looking up to get an early lead, because their late game lane assignments and shot calling wasn't on par to the Chiefs last time.
All right, well, let's take a look at this jungle matchup, shall we? Spooks versus Seb. And what's interesting about this is that Seb's got a higher kill participation. So, Curtis, what does this tell us about his jungle styling compared with Spooks?
Yeah, like right there off the numbers, you can kind of tell that, as well as the recent picks. You've got the 2 Elise games there and the Gragas game. You can tell, obviously, he's been going for early ganks, getting those early kills for his laners. And like across the table, we can see Spooks. He's been playing more of the supporty utility style champions with the Cho'Gath and the Maokai. That kind of explains the lower kill participation. But it really will come down to how Seb can get those early kills on his laners and make sure Luch doesn't lose too hard in the 2v2 mid, and yeah, see if they can snowball that into the late game.
Yeah, touching on what Sharp said, the CS per minute definitely highlights how the difference between the two players. Seb is going for the early game, trying to get his solo laners ahead and hopefully snowball the map, while Spooks is more of playing for his team comp, playing the Zac, trying to play for the team composition that Jish is setting up his team for, and it's really up to the mid lane and jungle duo to pay it off here today.
Yeah, well, do you think that is Seb playing to that style, Destiny, because that's what he wants to play, or do you think he just has to do that in order to kind of stop his team from bleeding early in the game?
I think it's a bit of both. Like Seb's, when he first came into the OPL, he was an aggressive jungler. He always wanted to invade and take fights, but I feel like he's had a bit of a rough split, this split, and for them to make the gauntlet, they need this win today, and he really needs to step up as both a player and a shot caller.
Yeah, I'd actually go to the extent to say Seb has come a long way. Like he's had a bit of a rough start, but I feel like Abyss, they're a team that are really coming into fruition at the moment. A lot of the players are getting more confidence. Like Pabu being a rookie, he's getting his confidence as well. And really interesting to see how they've actually managed to come off the back of a few losses and see what they can take from these games.
Well, we already mentioned Luch, their mid laner. Let's see how he stacks up against Swiffer, who is kind of historically one of the best mid laners in OS. When you look at this, I mean, Luch's kill participation is way out above Swiffer's right now.
Yeah, it's actually this is actually very surprising, because Swiffer is probably one of the key figures in Chiefs, and they actually rely heavily on him doing well in a lot of their games. So this is actually quite a good matchup to see, because Luch is quite the solo queue talent as well, and it would be really interesting to see how they stack up in the 1v1. I would actually go to the extent to say that Luch can hold his own against Swiffer.
Yeah, I agree. I think Luch can definitely hold against Swiffer, and just by looking at the stats, he's got a higher kill participation, and he has a higher CS per minute, so he's willing to influence the map with his leads, but he's also willing to play safe if he needs to. If Seb wants to play to top side, he can't. So giving this option, Luch allows his team to play wherever, pretty much.
We also saw in those stats just then that Luch is doing over 30% of his team's average damage to champions, which means when they are taking games, I mean, he is a big reason of why they can do that, Destiny.
Yeah, definitely. His Cassiopeia last game was pretty, it was okay. Like, the early game wasn't too good, but in the late game, he definitely popped up. They didn't have a good draft against last week, so hopefully they fix it up and give him a good matchup. So
what do you think are going to be the contested picks in this matchup then, Sharp? What do you reckon is going to be? Is Maokai going to get through today?
Nah, I hope not, because Maokai at the moment is pretty ridiculous. Like, as a flex, like both in jungle and top. I would actually go, I would say that the mid picks, like aggressive mid picks, will actually be quite contested. You know, picks like Cassiopeia and Syndra will be quite contested, because both of these picks will really allow the 2v2 to be strong in mid, and both these teams, like, they will rely on having the stronger 2v2 mid.
Yep. Well, this is Abyss getting ready right now in the OPL studios. Let's take a look at their lineup. Pabu is their top laner. You know, he told me this week that his favorite movie of all time, Spy Kids.
Spy Kids.
Yeah, he said it was nostalgia.
That's a banger of a movie.
Seb is their jungler. Their mid laner is Luch, who already spoke about today. Their AD carry is Raid, who's shown some recent form. And Rosie is their support player. And when you look at these guys, I mean, I think 3 of them have been able to play Galio this split, which means that could be a contested pick for Abyss. They're playing it in the top, in mid, and also in support.
Yeah, that's actually quite interesting, because there has been a few players internationally as well have been picking up this Galio top. Chiefs are also play a bit of Galio top, so this actually might be a contested pick. So you might look to see in the drafts maybe an early flex pick Galio and Abyss possibly putting into support.
Yeah, no, I definitely know that Rosie is a big fan of the Galio support. I think it matches and pairs well with Jhin, because you can Q and then hit the Deadly Flourish, get the root chain, and it's a good matchup, but Jin's not that good in the meta right now.
Well, speaking of Chiefs, this is these guys getting ready right now in the OPL studios, and their lineup. Swiper, the Armored Titan, is their top laner. Their jungler is Spooks. Swiffer, who we touched on earlier, is their mid laner. Their AD carry is Swiffer, and Ejim is their support player. Oops, sorry, Raze is their AD carry, I apologize. Oops. Ejim is their support. And I ran into Ejim earlier today, and he had a bag of pods. You know those, like, chocolates inside a biscuit? And he was like, these are my pre-game snacks.
Snickers are the best.
The Snickers pods. The Snicker pods.
Snicker pods are the best.
What are the other options? Mars pods.
Snickers.
I think that's the only two.
I usually have Mars. Mars is pretty good. Yeah.
I'm a Snickers man.
It's like a reverse. The thing about a and I don't really eat chocolate because I don't really have milk, but the thing about a Mars pod, it's a reverse Malteser. Anyway, all right, let's get you guys' predictions before we get into this. It's like an inside out, except for the big caramel. Anyway, let me get you guys' predictions before we get into this game. Sharp, who's going to win this one? Is this going to be a 2-0 for the Chiefs?
Yeah, I think Chiefs will take this out 2-0. I don't think the early aggression from Abyss will be able to snowball enough of a lead to get them through the game.
I will say Chiefs 2-0, but Abyss, there's always potential for them to win. Last time they were very close at doing it. Pabu might pull out the Pantheon. Luch might get really fed. Like, anything can happen in these games, and yeah, it's just really reliant on the early game.
So it's a 2-0, but not a hard 2-0 from you. Let's take a look at your tips at home, opltips.com.au. And Chiefs, massive favourites. However, I will say 1.78% of people think that Abyss can take this 2-0. So they're the true believers, in my opinion. The absolute true believers.
Shout out Abyss Management right there.
Hey, if you're watching at home and you want to get involved, tweet at us via hashtag I'mOPL. Your questions about the Pickman draft, and I will pose them to our analysts during our analytical segments. We're also going to be taking questions from Twitch chat, so please pop off in there and we will put them on broadcast. However, it is time for us to get into our first match of the day, Abyss versus Chiefs. So let's throw it to your casters, Spawn and Fish.
Thanks, singers. I'm Matthew Fish Stewart. Joining me is Jake Spawn Tiberium, about to get into game number 1 of the day. It's the Chiefs taking on Abyss, and last time this happened, as the Des mentioned, Abyss were almost able to take a game, but not quite.
Yeah, exactly right. They came incredibly close, Fish, but ultimately they couldn't execute on the late game team fights, and it did all fall apart. Fun fact about our Des today. Did you know that one of those 3 people actually was part of the winning Origin team, Fish? There you go. That's a fun fact for you there. Of course, 2 of them are Sydney-siders, who, of course, did not win Origin. Unfortunately for Sydney fans, New South Wales choked in both Origin series this year, and it was quite upsetting for them, Fish.
Moving on to the OPL, however. As we're going into the first pick and ban phase for Abyss, taking on the Chiefs here. Jace as well as Gallia being banned very early on. The Armored Titan is not going to be available for big swips in the top lane.
Yeah, and I don't think it should be available for Swiper in the top lane because he got absolutely starred on last week. However, Swiffer plays it very well in the mid lane, and I think that's where the ban's actually going. They don't want to give Swiffer an easy way out of this lane versus Luch. They want to make him play the skill match, and they want to see whether they can actually exploit it. Beg your pardon, I actually can't talk for the moment.
Well, we have Maokai as well as Xayah banned out from the Chiefs.
This is going to be a long day, Fish.
With Syndra
going to be a long day.
With Syndra being taken off the board and Cho'Gath, the final ban that came out from this. That left Gragas open, and it's the first pick for the blue side squad. As
Yeah,
Spawn
it certainly
still
is.
dying.
I'm still dying over here. Yep, so Gragas pick, it's a flex pick. It's one of the Seb's best junglers at the moment. Gives him that early game flavor, as well as a little bit more utility to be able to impact late game team fights. Pabu also does play at top lane. It's not his best champion, I would say. I'd prefer Pabu on a fighter like Kled. But we'll see how it works out.
And Chiefs go, well, they're looking for the Elise pick, but instead swap over to Kalista as their AD carry of choice for Raze. Banning out the Xayah means Raze will not be able to pick that champion himself.
Kalista's an interesting one. We heard yesterday that Dravenhard counters it. See whether Raid picks that one up.
Oh
Also, I
boy.
think Tristana has an okay matchup against it, although I was talking to the perfect player, that man on your screen, and he doesn't really like playing Trist into Kalista anymore. Thinks the short trades just suck for her.
And that was the main reason why Tristana was such a big counter, because she can put the satchel on Kalista, get a lot of damage over time, and try and match the Rend.
Yep.
But you're right, the short trades do go in Kalista's favor still. However, Elise was still picked for the Chiefs as their jungler of choice, with Zac left open still. Thresh was the final pick of the first draft phase for Abyss, and Renekton is picked up for Swiper in the top lane.
Yeah, instant lock-in. So once again, we're seeing support being saved, even though Rakan was available, Fish.
Yep.
Which pairs up very nicely with the Kalista.
I mean, that means Chiefs can now target ban topside picks like Nah.
Yeah. Narclad, something like that. That still leaves Jarvan available. There's still lots of things that Pabu can play in the top lane. Worst comes to worst, he can just take the Gragas. So I don't think he's all that perturbed by the focus on his champion pool. Fun fact, Pantheon also beats Renekton in the lane at the moment, Fish.
Pantheon is...
As soon as you see the W animation wound up, what do?
Just press W?
Yep, and then it blocks it. Block is absolutely OP. Good to see that you know your Pantheon matchups. I know you're a big connoisseur of the Pantheon running around.
Yep, big connoisseur of both Pantheon and Renekton. Echo is the first ban in the second rotation coming out from this. We see a lot of Echo bans, but we haven't seen any Echoes picked in about 5 weeks now.
That's strange as well, because Swiffer is not renowned for his melee assassin play at the moment. Let's just leave it that way. Not the best Echo player that I've seen in my time in the OPL. Although I think he still plays a good Zed, so maybe all the melee assassins apart from Zed.
And Shen is the last ban from the Chiefs.
Talia gone as well.
Yep, Talia being taken off the board. That is a champion that Swiffer can play to great success.
Yep, certainly is.
See,
Cassiopeia, Corki, the two probably that are last available.
I'm actually fairly surprised they decided not to target ban Egypt.
Yeah, I think you
this
take
situation.
Rakan right now. Maybe Alistar if you want to play the Kalista lane, but I think Rakan makes a lot of sense. And you leave counter pick to Swiffer.
There you go. Rakan locked in for Egypt.
I was really surprised that wasn't a ban, by the way.
I mean, take away the Echo, put the Rakan in. Makes sense from Abyss.
Yeah,
almost,
if you get rid of the Echo and put Rakan there, I think that is nearly the best bans you can throw at the Chiefs at the moment.
It almost feels like they want to put Luch on Syndra to prevent many hard counters, but there still are quite a few in the lane.
Syndra's banned, mate.
Oh, she is too.
So, not going to think that they were doing that. Unless they didn't check the bans, and then they wanted to put him on something that was already banned, so
Like
they just
me.
banned two champions. In which case,
Ooh.
Fire Drac.
But we have Victor locked in for Luch, and Poppy is going to make a return to the OPL, most likely in the top lane for Pabu.
I'm going to guarantee it's in the far top lane, Fish. Where else would it be?
In the jungle, you never know.
Jungle Poppy. You heard it here first.
We've seen Poppy jungle and support historically.
When have we ever seen Poppy jungle since the rework?
Not since we were.
Go find me a competitive game with Poppy jungle.
Not since the rework.
Okay, cool. Just checking.
But Orianna is the final pick for the Chiefs. This is something that they tried to draft early in their recent loss against Legacy. Did not work out for them. Let's see if Swiffer has a better game on the control mage this time round. in a control mage matchup in the mid lane.
Yeah, you would have to think that it's slightly Orianna favoured at the moment, although Victor has the advantage of being able to go to a side lane fish. So maybe throughout the mid game, Luke should have a little bit better of a job. The shield from Orianna is just instant as soon as the ball's on her. Of course, Luke has to wait for the return before he gets his shield and can trade out. So we'll see how it works. Overall, I think that Abyss have got a very tanky lineup with some good scaling.
They do.
But mid-game for the Chiefs does look incredibly intimidating.
And Poppy making a return here. The last 2 times we saw Poppy was when Grasp of the Undying was broken, and then when Courage of the Colossus was
Carrot
broken.
Colossus Poppy,
Oof.
best Poppy. You'd throw your buckler, you would hit them a lot, and then you'd just tackle them. Didn't even matter if they hit the wall. You'd just get another big shield, then you would start hitting them again. I mean, she does percentage health damage that has been buffed recently. Buckler duration is down, which is why the biggest nerf that probably pushed her out, because she no longer has incredibly long windows to trade.
Yep.
But I think Grasp plus a Barmy Cinder would get you through the lane at the moment.
And there was one team in the LPL that consistently ran Poppy top lane despite the nerfs, and it did it to great success. Curious to see if Pabu has something interesting here into the Renekton match.
Yeah, I'm really interesting. I mean, we'll stop the slice and dice with the W. Also, we'll stop a lot of the Rakan engage, which I think is one of the big reasons to play it, because Rakan obviously dives in, although if he goes flash first, then that doesn't really stop anything, because of course you can still flash on Poppy. But I think that her laning phase is just really bad at the moment. I'm interested to see how it does into one of the best lane bullies in League of Legends.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that one goes. Papu, however, a connoisseur of unorthodox top lane picks, so Poppy should be up his alley, so to speak, going into this Renekton matchup, but let's see how he does. For now, though, let's check in with Hingers, who is standing by with Drak, the coach from Abyss. Hello. We're back, I guess. So unfortunately, one of those microphones were not on.
I'm going to guess it was Hinger's one, because he was talking into it and no sound was coming out. And I know our sound guy, Richard Chow, he would have had he would have been all over the audio board, Fish, so it was not his fault.
Come on, Hingers. He's still going on, Spawn. I can hear him out there.
Yeah. Well, that's all right.
Poor guy.
We'll figure out what he said afterwards. He can give us the play-by-play.
Yeah,
no Outback Croc picked up, but a little bit of Oktoberfest Gragas, so that's all right.
There's a really cool Tristana skin coming in. Is it the Bewitched Tristana?
Yep. Do you like that one?
I haven't seen it. This is the first time I've seen the skin, ever.
No, it's not true. Quinn played it the other week.
Ah, I must have completely ignored it then.
Yep, makes sense. You ignore lots of things.
True.
SKT Callista picked up. Big fan of that skin. What do you think about SKT Callista?
I don't like it.
Why
Looks
not?
like she looks like
Power Ranger.
no, she looks like the Soccer-Lucian skin, just different. I don't know why. It just reminds me of Soccer-Lucian for some reason. Either that or Striker Ezreal. I can't remember which one has the same colors as SKT Callista.
Either of them do.
But they do give Spooks a leash on his blue buff.
So let's see what route Spooks goes. When I go this build on Elise, I do Wolves and skip Raptors, which is a very unique path. Lots of junglers want to be able to pick up first clear Raptors. But I do bottom side jungle, into red buff, into top lane. See whether he goes the same. Looks like he is. The reason I bring that up, he's gone Machete, not Talisman. So he's going to take a lot of damage if he does Raptors. Whereas every other camp, he will actually nearly increase health. After, obviously, your major buff. You don't get health from major buffs. Yep. But we'll see whether this is actually, maybe a cheesy play, going towards bottom side jungle and looking to contest a red buff, or potentially Raptors, because they warded the Raptors, remember, Fish, so he knows precisely where Seb is, and there's a full camp ahead of him.
Yeah, he's ticked 3, Seb's still level 2, and
Yeah,
has
Seb
yet
might
to
be
brush.
dead.
Now Will, already just under half health, going to take a lot of damage. Cocoon will
That
miss
is
from
a
Spooks.
Spooks cue right there. Hate to see it.
Seb's going to smite the red buff, get some health
Supports
back.
are coming over. No one has won the push in the mid lane. They will send Seb back, so this should be the buff going over, Fish.
He still looks like he wants to stick around. There is a ward over in Spook's red buff, so to speak, or Seb's red buff, I should say.
Seb has Smite. Spooks has just come available. He has a level advantage, so this should be a 3-buff start. Oh,
So, great
well,
play.
that should have been a steal if
Great.
Seb was anywhere near that.
Great play from Spooks. Seb, however, will only take one of the big Krugs and be stuck on level 2.
Yep.
Spooks even delays his recall slightly here and will move over towards his Raptor camp. Meanwhile, mid lane, Swiffer taking a ton of damage from Luch.
Yeah, just trading back nicely. Both of these guys, buff duration, mid laners. I think that's pretty much become standard now, Fish. I don't remember the last time I saw a Biscuit on a mid lane. You can see Spooks is doing a Raptor camp now without Smite, so we'll see if that slows him down a little bit. Obviously, he wants to take the maximum away from Seb. Also can look to flash the wall and go for a cocoon or something like that, although with the accuracy of his last one, probably best if he does not.
I mean, having red buff does make up for the lack of talisman. It gives you a lot of health regeneration in the jungle.
Not all that much early game. As the game progresses, it certainly does. Early game's not all that much. You can see that Swiper is pushing in aggressively. They've both gone Doran start. Shield for Pabu, Blade for Swiper. Both of them use their potions, and Pabu's actually keeping up in farm.
Yep. Historically, this is a okay matchup for Poppy. She doesn't win, but she doesn't lose either. Just because Renekton has to stand still and trade, and Poppy likes that.
Yep.
In the bottom lane, though, it's been Chiefs pushing into Abyss so far. Kind of expect that early on in the Kalista Tristana matchup. Later, however, they can start to get a bit more aggressive.
Thoughts on the skin? You've just seen it there.
I like it. I swear this is the first time I've seen it. I can't believe Raze has played it before and I missed it.
Maybe he hasn't.
Because I don't think I've ever seen this in an actual game that I played at League of Legends.
Here we go. Pabu's about to kill Swiper.
Good damage.
Out of mana.
No mana to go for any more trades, but the Q is very cheap for Pabu to use, so that should be back up. Swiper's going to be very happy once he can heal up a little bit. Mid lane though, Swiffer's in trouble. That's an easy first blood picked up by Seb.
Yeah, nicely done. Probably didn't have to burn the flash there, Fish, but does it just to secure. Luch obviously had to burn the heal, so has used a summoner spell, whereas Swiffer used neither, but certainly a good trade. Spook's still on top side of the map, Fish. Yeah, look, have to flash the wall and come in here.
Looking for a dive. He's going to go over with a repel, and great use of the W from Pabu. Stops Spooks from getting any further close. Bottom lane, a bit of a scuffle there, but hook goes wide from Rosie. Still, Swiper not doing too well into this Poppy matchup.
Certainly isn't. They've pushed into the top lane together, so that's going to bounce. The Chiefs will get a favourable wave there, but still have to give credit to Pabu because he's gone back. He's picked up 900 gold, so Barmy Cinder plus some ward. He's going to be absolutely fine in this lane.
First time to pick up for Swiper is going to be a Tiamat.
Oh, not going Cleaver Rush. Generally against tanks, we see Cleaver Rush, Fish. What are your thoughts? You're the top lane man at the moment. I'm back to 80 carry, so.
Well, Tiamat gives him the wave clear to match Poppy's Q as well as the Barmy Cinder, which rushing Black Cleaver is not able to do so. He's always struggling this hard in the matchup. Clearing the waves might be a bit more effective for Swiper at the moment.
Has walked back, however, so we'll see whether he wants to be a little bit more aggressive. The reason I thought we'd see Cleaver is because he gives him kill threat, but maybe with the damage that's going to come out of Spooks, doesn't really need it. So we'll see how it works out. As you said, this wave clear is quite useful on Renekton. And it's going to keep him a wave up, even though he didn't burn the TP. So that is a good news story. Spooks is also about half a level up on Seb from what I can see, experience-wise. And has more camps left available. So he should be a little bit ahead in the jungle, even though Seb was able to grab that first blood.
Pabu's trading absolutely fine against Swiper at the moment. Doing well now into the Renekton matchup, although he's behind slightly in CS. Something we didn't really touch on, although you mentioned how the W interacts with Rakan engage and Swiper dashing as well. Works well against Kalista as well. She can't auto jump.
Yep.
Which could be a good use of the Poppy pick as well.
Yeah, certainly agree with that. Great shockwave.
Egypt doesn't get the knockup, but forces a flash out of Luch.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you're looking for there, right? They burnt nothing apart from shockwave. It's going to be back up and available quite soon. Luch will have to play pretty scared against an Elise Rakan Orianna now. I feel like we haven't seen any massive Orianna Rakan combos. I feel like, you know, they've been on the same team, but we haven't seen Rakan head in with the ball yet.
Nope. It always seems like he just starts up fights and Orianna will continue later on.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of teams have moved away from that wombo combo-esque fight. Instead, scatter out their abilities to reset fights at times.
Yeah, just because you don't. Generally, your engage goes onto tanks, then your 80 carries start putting some damage into them. You know, you're leaving the ball in between to try and split the front line and the back line up a little bit, and you only really have threat as Orianna until incredibly late, whilst you have that shockwave available. So it makes sense.
But let's see if Egypt's able to get a good flank into the back lines. It could be useful to send the ball on towards the support.
Interesting that Swiper didn't pop Dominus there and try and fight Pabu, because Pabu is very low on mana, Fish, so he's going to start losing out on this lane. Spooks has been spotted out on his invade, but Seb is back in base, so I don't think there's anything they can really do about this one.
And good map position coming out from Raze and Ejim, covering
Although
him in
Ejim
case.
might be dead.
He gets caught out and hooked. We'll have to flash away. Rocket jump over the wall from Ray. Gets Raze really low. Will pull back his support, but now Seb's there as well. Ejim has to flash over this one to get away. Ultimate from Seb will knock them back, however. And they do lose their 80 carry mid lane. Luch also pushing Swiffer out.
Yeah, it certainly is. So all over the map right now, Chiefs are losing. Bottom lane, they'll up in CS, but now a kill over onto Raid. Top lane, 20 CS, so the last bastion of hope really is going to be Swiper. Mid lane, very easy. Rainover played at Poppy Jungle post-rework, week 3 of Season 6 NALCS.
They won in 29 minutes.
Since then, Rainover has been playing on Team Liquid, has been benched. And I would like to blame the Poppy for it, personally.
Poppy before and after rework's just been one of those many champions that can play multiple roles.
And this is something that's unique. This is twice that Spooks has come in top to help Swiper push the turret. And the Chiefs are kind of playing topside League of Legends. Not an exclusive camp on the top side.
They do get a gank onto Luch, but Luch turns around a 2-on-1. He's probably going to live here as well.
He used heal. He is definitely alive.
Another kill on the Swiffer mid lane.
Yep. So, and now this might be a kill as well.
That's a lot of damage. Raid's going to rocket jump over as well. Swiper forced to splash away as well as Dice, but can't get the second proc. Good Cocoon. We'll be able to keep him safe, but Spook's now in trouble. Hooked back by Rosie. Seb's up here as well. No repel available, and Rosie gets that kill. Raid got the reset. He's still chasing him down. One more auto attack's going to be enough. Is he quick enough?
Quicker.
Oh,
he turned around.
No!
I think he could have got that.
Swiper had to pass through the turret. That was a free kill for Raid.
Certainly was, but he turned around. He also has boots 2 versus no boots fish, so he is 100% quicker. However, this is amazing League of Legends so far out of the Abyss lineup. 4 kills for absolutely nothing. And they're dominating the Chiefs around Summoner's Rift right now. Chiefs should be a little bit worried.
They are about 1,500 gold up once waves start to push in and some CS is collected. But so far, this team composition is working very well. The only flaw is that Pabu's down in CS, but he's doing absolutely fine at the moment.
And that's what you expect when you pick a pure change like that. Seb's being caught out here, see whether they continue the fight. 1
Q from Gragas almost equalizes the health advantage that Spooks is able to create from his full combo.
Yep. Not sure about putting Swiffer on a control mage versus Luch, however. You can see that Luch is very comfortable in this matchup here. He's aggressively posturing forward, looks very good in control. This is definitely Luch's wheelhouse, was known for his Azir and his Victor and even back further. So we'll see what actually happens here as it progresses. Swiffer plays his best League of Legends when he's on something that has side lane pressure. Swiper now caught out here, Fish.
Seb's coming in for a gank. He's trying to rotate around, but he's running towards the wrong side of the map. Pabu will be able to tackle him back. Cancels the slice as well. No dice coming out from Swiper yet. We'll use it late to try and avoid the W field. Seb knocks him back into the team. No flash for the Renekton.
No ultimate either.
No Dominus either. And they're going to slowly whittle down this Crocodile, and Abyss should be able to pick up another kill for themselves. They're now 5-0.
Yeah, exactly right. And this is just an absolute crushing performance so far in the early game. 5-0 as you mentioned, and Spooks has just had to flash over a wall because Luch has beaten him to the rotation. Time and time again, Chiefs players just don't know where to go.
Luch looks like an absolute monster now. Abyss are going to try and tackle the bottom lane outer turret.
But look at this, they take the safe way through the whole jungle. So you see Luch, even though Rakan and Elise had rotated down, isn't going to be caught out. They might even be able to pick up a turret here. Swiper might have to TP, but probably won't because he's that kind of player.
Nope, they're going to trade top side of the map. Tristana has to be a bit careful.
Ooh.
Good use of Dark Passage from Rosie, gets Tristana back to safety. So first turret falls for Abyss. Chiefs do respond with a top lane outer for themselves. However, 2,000 gold behind Abyss now.
And Protracted, right? That is a turret for a turret, but there was also a kill and a flash thrown in there for the Abyss Gaming lineup. So they've come out very far ahead in that. See whether the Chiefs can actually do this Rift Herald in time, Fish. Because if so, that would be a good news story. Luch, incredibly low, doesn't have
a lot of trouble, and Swiffer is able to pick up a solo kill in the mid lane.
I take it back. I'm sorry, Swiffer. Control versus control is absolutely fine, apparently, for the mid laner of the Chiefs.
But Luch did go for an interesting item build. Didn't upgrade his perfect hex score straight away. Went for Iron Boost of Lucidity as quick as possible, and now a blasting one coming through as well.
It is. Normally, we just see all the money get pumped into the hex core first, Fish. You're exactly right. I don't mind the Ionian Boots of Lucidity because, you know, not a Morellonomicon builder generally. so he does need to pick up some CDR from somewhere. Generally, it is going to be the boot as well as maybe something like a Lich Bane for the trades.
And we saw the Rift Herald get taken down by the Chiefs again. Once again, goes over to Ejim. I like to think it's because Spooks can't use the Rift Herald, but I know there's a lot more behind that.
No, this game it might actually just be that. Because Spooks isn't level 9, so there's no ward trinket excuse for him.
No. Oh, goodness.
See whether Swiper actually wants to try and defend this turret. You can see he's
I
back
think he can.
right away.
Whereas he's got Ignite up. Very difficult for Swiper to try and defend this. And that's going to be a free turret for Abyss. No pressure anywhere else in the map at the moment for the Chiefs.
I mean, they're trying to get some in bottom lane, but their rotation was a little bit slower because of the Rift Herald fish. That's what happens when you go for the extra advantage. You do get punished tempo-wise. However, they can pop it now and potentially look for a quick turret here against Pabu.
Not yet, though.
Maybe want to use it to break the mid lane turret.
And if they can hold on to it, it'll be a big advantage for them. Raze is doing
You can
quite
see
a bit of damage
rotation's
to
already
this.
come into the mid lane. So Swift is going to have to burn at least a shockwave here to defend the turret, if not maybe his life.
Good thing for Swiffer is that there's no Rift Herald for him to try and take down, which is one of Oriana's weaknesses. Instead, they're looking for a
coming
fight.
in.
Both teleports are coming in. A very deep flank from Pabu. Both get cancelled.
Yeah, I think that's better for the Chiefs. I mean, I would rather have Pabu's teleport on cooldown with the Renekton's and the other way around. Means that he's not going to be able to go for any really deep flanks and get access to Raze at the start of team fights. He's instead just going to have to charge straight through.
Easy pickup for Raze there. Big item spikes coming out for the Chiefs as well. Blade of the Rowan King complete.
There we
Morel
go.
Omicron gone.
That is what we were talking about.
Can't dash in.
Can't Kardashian?
Rakan can't dash in.
Okay. Interesting.
Rakan Kardashian?
Yeah, I was like...
Boy, please don't bring them onto this broadcast.
Hey, I'm a big Kardashian fan.
Oh no, we can't be friends anymore.
Who said I was your friend in the first place, mate?
I know, you've told me this before. Meanwhile, Chiefs still trying to find their way back to this game. They do take a dragon for themselves. So slowly they're stopping the bleeding. But Abyss do have priority in this match so far.
Yeah, they certainly do, but at a certain point that it's going to start becoming a little bit scarier, I feel, for Abyss, because as we said, their comp is a little bit later spiking. That's what happens when you run 2 full tanks. Swiffer in trouble though, Fish.
Flashing away.
Yep. There's 4 members here in the mid lane. So once again, another quick collapse. And that's going to actually get him the turret this time.
Yeah, the Chiefs look like they want to try and collapse the defenders, but they're too spread out. Instead, they happy feet down to the mid lane and walk straight back to their respective lanes. Abyss now 3 turrets to 1. 27,600 gold to 25,300.
And I like how they're using Raid, because Ejim right now is kind of staying near Raze because he wants to look for that 2v2. Blade of the Rowan King, such a crucial power spike. They're now using Rift Herald top lane.
Hello.
I think that might have been an expiry Herald Fish. So no matter what the Chiefs player, still not great Rift Herald use. We'll get a charge here, so it's not going to be all bad.
Still a lot better than the Spooks Heralds.
Well, he used it. So yeah, she's correct.
He also didn't try to ward with it. But they did get a good charge, get some chip damage top lane inner, set that up to knock it down later on in the match. Now looking to siege mid lane as well. Swiper is still split
It's going to be
pushing.
a hard siege into Lush, so I don't think they've got much hope on this one. They have built some big CS advantages though. 40 CS on Swiper. You know, you got that 30 CS on Raze. You're going to be able to knock down bottom lane turret as well. Swiper's going to get solo gold for it.
And you'd have to think that's what's keeping the Chiefs in this game, the fact that their CS scores are much higher than Abyss.
Yeah, but I think that that's also why Abyss has got turrets, right? They've been more willing to group up and shove into the Oriana lane, look to force through using the ultimate on Luch. So I think that they're both winning the game because of their willingness to group up, but also kind of keeping the Chiefs a little bit more in it.
Cheeky from Raze, steals the big croak under Seb's nose. It's all the mini ones as well. And he's having a good game again. Raze hasn't been involved in anything. He's actually died once, but he's farming up a storm.
Yep, ahead of the clock by a lot. 18 minutes in, he's got 200 CS. That's exactly where you want to be. In Luch territory, you'd almost say. But yeah, he's doing a really good job of farming up. He's going to be very relevant on 2 items. I mean, at 3 items, he will start to be outscaled by Raid. But we've also seen some cool builds. I liked Blinky's build yesterday, where he went Lord Dominic second. Obviously not the same HP stacking coming out of Gragas as there would be something like a Cho'Gath or a Maokai or a Sejuani, but I still think that build could work here too.
Let's see if he goes for it. The Chiefs are setting up a Death Brush here with Spooks and Swiper waiting in the wings. Raid is going to walk past. So
How
it's
much of a death is it really, though? We'll see.
Yeah, it's a Cinderhawk Gragas, so a bit harder to kill.
They're happy feeding. He's going to body slam over the wall.
Swiper gets 40 gold.
All right. Interesting. They're hard collapsing mid lane, however.
And Pabu looking for the flank. Good jump from Ejim. Gets him back to safety.
Yeah, use the abilities in the right order, I feel, there. Use the delayed dash to clear the first bit of terrain before eeing away to his little buddy there in range. Feel like the delayed dash second time around would have allowed Pabu to put his shield up.
So now, even though the score is 5-1 in favor of Abyss, the Chiefs are literally a turret's worth of gold behind Abyss. They're one turret down.
Yeah, well, Achilles about 30 CS, right? Why does he have a Ruby Sightstone?
Who has a Ruby Sightstone? What's wrong with a Ruby Sightstone?
So
Ejim's got it.
Ruby Sightstone is generally purchased when obviously you need an extra ward slot, that's not that important, but it gives you reduced cooldown on active items. As Raid evades another gank here too. I don't necessarily hate Ruby Sightstone. I like it on tank supports. Don't like it on mage supports. Obviously, because mage supports just build damage. But as far as tank supports go, I actually think it's quite good because tanks generally get more active.
Let's see if it pays off for Ejim. So as not to upgrade his support item. Swiffer, meanwhile, going to get flashed on by Rosie in mid lane.
On.
He forces his ghost. Pabu's going to try and collapse. Good ultimate from Seth. The alley-oop for Pabu gives him another kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, see whether they go towards Baron or something like that, Fish. That was a great collapse there, but they used a lot to not get anything from it. If that's just a pick, I would almost say not worth. That was teleport, double ultimates, as well as the flash out of Rosie. Although now they've caught out Ejim, it might be worth.
Gets back to safety. He's able to dash around. So Abyss don't get anything but the pick onto Swiffer.
Yeah, so I'm saying not worth. Looked cool, very flashy play. Definitely not worth it at this stage.
So we have a couple of items coming in.
Rylai's Crystal Scepter.
Yeah, Sunfire was the first rush for Pabu. Rylai's for Luch before upgrading his Hex Core as well.
Yeah, not sure about the Rylai's purchase here, Fish.
It's an interesting one. Let's see if it works out for Luch later on. However, Infinity Edge as well as Static Shiv have been complete for Raid.
Swifty Boots picked up by Raze. We've just got a bizarre item game.
I mean, I like it. Into the Poppy. He can escape the W zone field.
Gonna have to walk away.
And then start to hop once he's out of it at least. And Ejim might actually be caught out now. Rose is going to try and collapse on him, but he just dashes over the wall. Yep, nice and easy.
Obviously very comfortable on the Rakan, you can see. Pretty confident in his movement. Another Dragon is up and available if the Chiefs want to go for it.
Ocean Dragon this time, a bit better than the Cloud they picked up first time round, and they are going to collapse towards the pit. Just Swiffer and Spooks working on this objective alone.
They have no control over topside, so this is slightly dangerous, but they have vision on where Raid is as well as where Rosie is, so they're not all that bothered by the fact Baron could be started up. Now the pit has been swept a little bit more successfully. See that Swiper's actually gone towards Giant's Belt as well as some cloth armor, so has stopped at just a regular T-Mat, not gone towards the Titanic Hydra.
Yep, trying to get a bit tanky quicker than what the double health sacking offers. Normally, if you're in a prolonged laning phase, you'll look towards the double health items no matter what. However, in such a short game like this, 22 minutes and 5 turrets are down, getting as tanky as possible early can be worth it.
And the Chiefs mustn't know that they're still, you know, within 1,000 goals. Because whilst their CS advantages are pretty big, being down in turrets, being down in kills the whole game, as they've caught out Raze as well now. Great flash!
And good knockout comes out from Ejim. That will disengage for the Chiefs.
That was a flash for a flash there. Seb used his ult as well. Got over the important part of the wall, Fish. If he had a face planted that one, certainly would have been dead and probably would have been Baron, to be honest. Which
means initiation threat from Abyss is a little bit lower now. But if they can catch out Raze, he can't escape as easily anymore.
Yep. Also going to be difficult to create space between him and the Poppy.
Yep. He gets caught in that W zone. He's as good as dead at the moment.
So we'll see how it works out. Swiffer's still farming up nicely versus Luch, although has died 3 times.
Both AD carries are on the top side of the map, trading farm at the moment. Raze, he's got 280 CS, 9,500 gold. Was that a meow?
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there.
What?
Raze can't clear out the Baron wards because he's got a Hurricane, so unfortunate for him, but every single time he tries to do it, he aggroes. See, Swiper also has an advantage, and then everywhere else on the board, it's kind of just small advantages right now. So the advantage really is nothing. In fact, I would say that the Chiefs right now, because their AD carry is so damn strong, probably in a straight-up team fight, if Raze has Flash available, would be completely happy taking it.
Problem is that window is slowly shrinking. Raze has gone towards the traditional Kalista route of picking up the QSS into Mercurial Scimitar, and we do see Tristana going for double stacking Zeal items. Once that's complete, oof, that's going to be a big punch for Raid.
Also the fact that there are some big tanky members starting to be built up here for Abyss Esports now. Pabu is definitely tanky. You can see Seb, he's gone towards Knight's Vow as well, so he's sitting pretty. Wave's not in a great area right now for the Chiefs. Top lane will start slow pushing back eventually. Bottom lane looks like it's pushing into them actually. But we'll see where they can siege up this mid lane turret. Once again, very difficult against the Victor. They go for it.
Initiates, gets on top of Swiper and Spooks, knocks them back into the turret as well. Swiper the first target. They send Ejim in with the ultimate. Great knock-up. Lands with the Rage. Shockwave forces a flash but connects on Luch. He has to get a heal to stay alive, but they kill Seb in response. Hook from Rosie goes wide, but the Chiefs counter that engage, and now they look towards moving at Baron.
And I was really interested whether we were going to see the combo, and it does come out. Fantastic initiation from Ejim into the Shockwave means that they're able to pick up a one team fight. Teleport, however, is coming in now. This is a risky fight still. It's a 3v5, but low health bars on the Chiefs.
And Lucius coming through. Spook's very low. That's a smite being used early for health, and it will be Baron picked up by the Kalista. Pabu wants to kill Spooks, will be able to trade his life for it. Raid, however, now forced to run away from 3 members of the Chiefs, and he can't do so. Rosie will get a hook on towards Raze. Is it enough to get Luce, who's picked up a kill on Egypt? Can he rip the spears out? Raze not close enough for it. And Lynch will be able to defend his support. So good trade for Abyss, but Baron goes to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think in the end it's a 3 for 2, but Baron picked up for the Chiefs. So massive advantage for the Chiefs Esports Club coming out. You can see bottom wave has now stacked up to the point that they need to send someone towards it. Raze off the back end of that team fight, goes back, just builds a Merc Scimitar outright. Had the QSS and a longsword, I believe. So that's a lot of gold that's just been cashed in. And Chiefs really have reclaimed control of this game. And once again, it's just been mid-game macro.
Yep.
Abyss had a fantastic early game lead, but then Chiefs somehow just stalled it out, dragged them around the map, continued to farm up at a much more rapid pace, Fish. And everywhere, they're ahead.
And it was a very disappointing engage from Abyss in that last fight, using the tackle from Pabu to close distance and only getting on top of Spooks and Swiper.
Yeah, you want to be hitting backline. If you're running a pure tank like Poppy, you should be able to ignore Spooks and Swiper. You need to be able to get back onto Raze and really tie him up, because even if that keg went through perfectly and Swiper ends up under the turret, he's still around Juan's Omen, Renekton at this stage of the game. He's just going to be able to dive back out. Spooks, even easier. He just hit the repel and was out from underneath the turret. So a little bit strange.
Teamfight did cost him, however. Abyss not out of this game.
Yeah, it's only 1,500 gold.
Which is the same lead that Abyss held on to for majority of this match. Just been swung in the Chiefs' favor. Let's see if the Chiefs can use it more to their advantage. 320 CS for Raze.
You can see that Pabu now actually looking for a deep flank potentially. He was heading through the jungle, moving over the control wards. However, didn't find it.
Ooh, he wants to go in. Still tackles Raze deep into the back lines. Will take a ton of damage, and Ejim initiates onto the front line tank. Gets good charms going to the back lines. Pabu winds up the Heli Poppy. Will not be able to knock anyone back, but still good engage from Ejim.
Ejim was calling for Swiffer to use the ultimate there. He got onto 2 members. He took a little bit too much damage, maybe Fish, and therefore they decided to not pull the trigger underneath the turret. You can see how dangerous this combo is, and this is probably why they didn't go for it, because they didn't use all that much, just Ejim's ultimate. Now they're going to be able to head towards an Infernal Drake. That will go before anyone can get in position.
Yep. So a Cloud Ocean and an Infernal picked up for the Chiefs here. Lucius item build. He's gone towards Liandry's Torment after Rylai's and still has yet to upgrade his Hex Core.
Yeah, Rylai's Liandry's. Interesting. Ejim just struts the most aggressive way through the turret ever. Renekton back bottom lane does have TP, however. See where they go for this now.
They initiate on Swiffer. That's a flash body slam. Shockwave on himself will pull back 3 members, but they get the kill. Abyss trying to turn around this fight. They've already got mid lane in a turret. Oh my goodness, that's a big flank, but he's just going to hold the wave.
Yeah, he's just going to port for the wave. See whether they can keep that one creep alive. They can't.
Oh, they can't, but they still get the turret anyway.
Yeah, it still looks like they're going to get the inhibitor fish.
They're going to try and tackle Raze. Ejim wants to dash in, gets knocked back by the Poppy zone.
So now do they fight?
Fate's Call comes in, knocks in Ejim, but he gets stunned up by Gravity Field. He will fall. Raid jumps into the fight. Good tackle on the wall from Pabu. He's going to get taken down. Abyss will kill the AD carry. Swiper dashes in, takes so much damage. Hook back. Ray gets a reset. Another kill for Abyss.
This could nearly be game. 4 members of the Chiefs just threw themselves at the Abyss Esports lineup, and all of them die. Spooks does the right thing. He goes and grabs the wave fish, but that is a huge mistake coming out of the Chiefs. Certainly going a little bit too aggressive there, and will be made pay as this game now back firmly in Abyss's hands.
Yeah, against the flow as well. Baron buff was picked up by the Chiefs. They just won a massive team fight, and Abyss turn around with decisive engages.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, they go aggressive onto Swiffer. He didn't have his flash available. They knew that. They also had Swiper bottom lane. And let's have a look at this, because they could have just ended it here. Abyss would have been content with just taking the inhibitor, saying we're back in the game. Instead, Raze throws in Ejim, gets Gravity fielded up. I mean, the Renekton isn't here yet. Pabu grabs Raze. Really nicely played out of Raid. And this was just really weird League of Legends coming out of the Chiefs, to be honest.
Certainly was, and great uses of their abilities coming out from the Abyss lineup, locking down Ejim as soon as he came in from both Thresh as well as the Victor. Now Tristana, definitely a threat. Last Whisper has been picked up as well as a Vamp Scepter, so she's pseudo 6 items here.
Yep.
Is everything you want in an AD carry.
Certainly does. Ejim, Spooks now is being caught out. He's probably going to die.
Rushing towards him with Righteous Glory. Will blast Conan's boy over the wall,
still
but Pabu's still cutting him off.
Yeah, still not out yet.
And that's no repel now. Pabu will take a lot of damage from Raze as well as Spooks. He's going to flash away. Dark Passage gets him back to safety, but Abyss might try to back away from this fight. Hook lands onto Raze, and a knockout from Poppy doesn't knock them back.
Yeah, it looked like Spooks flashed it, is what I'm going to go with there. Didn't see it really well, but heard the noise come out of both of them about the same time. Swiffer, meanwhile, burnt his Shockwave onto Luch there, traded ultimates, and definitely that was a big win for the Chiefs because there's more damage threats on their side. So if Swiffer can take one of the big damage threats of Abyss out, and they're not hitting the, Renekton or the Kalista off the back end of that, then certainly going to be a better team fight for the Chiefs Esports Club. So back within 200 gold. However, Chiefs don't have a mid lane inhibitor fish.
So this is turning into a great game. Abyss have already had standout performances. In fact, their loss against Legacy, we touted as one of the best performances Abyss have had. And they were devastated after that because they should have won. Now again against the Chiefs, looking very strong. Is this because Abyss is getting better, or the top teams like Chiefs and Legacy just dropping off the ladder?
I mean, you can say it either way, right? I think the patch certainly has hit the Chiefs. I think the Abyss now are playing much more team-based League of Legends, so I think that improvement is the most obvious. Gone are the days where Pabu is running around on pure split pushes. This game, he certainly needed to pick up a tank, and he's done a really good job so far. 2-1-7, he's 100 CS down, he's been Flame Horizon. But at the same time, you would say he's had much more map impact than what Swiper has had.
I mean, when we took a look at Abyss coming into the season, they picked up a superstar support of Rosie. He didn't have a great start to the split, but now him and Raid synergizing really well. Luch, we've always known, has been a great mid laner. Had a bit of a slump as well, but now looking good again. Seb, he used to be an on and off jungler. He's looked great in the last few games.
Yeah, he certainly has. I mean, I think that Seb has the potential to be an all-out star, as Ejim actually might be dead here.
Luch drops the base, and Ejim just gets solo killed by the Victor.
Yeah, he actually had flash available there. Probably could have gone over the wall fish, but doesn't decide to, and that might just be the Baron.
Hands off keyboard, Pabu teleports in. It's a 4-on-5. Chiefs might still try to take this, though.
See whether they do. I think this is a risky fight. It could actually cost them the game if they go for it. I would rather see them just disengage, play it safe, and that's what they're going to go for. This one's going super late game fish. Everyone, because of, the farm values and how quickly the turrets have fallen, everyone really has all the items they need right now. Maybe the exception of Swiffer looking for a Void Staff and Luch looking for his Void Staff. Apart from that, everyone is exactly where they want to be.
I think Pabu deserves a big shout out in this game especially because he, as you mentioned, he's gone from a split push threat, a solo queue hero to a big team player, and that was a rough transition. It was definitely a long-term investment for Abyss. His first few games on tanks and teamfight-based champions looked horrible, but now he's coming through as a very solid top laner who could do both.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think that everyone in Abyss has kind of got better at the same time, which is why they look so much better as a unit. When you have a look at it, they're only 1 kill each down the board. That shows a team that has played very within themselves, very team-based League of Legends. They're doing it well. If this is an Infernal Drake, then Ocean. Unlucky they've been RNG'd out of it. I think Chiefs have an Infernal Drake that we just haven't put up on the scoreboard.
Put up their Infernal Drake.
So it's 3 Drakes right now to 0. And Ocean isn't the best Drake, so they're just going to ignore it for now and look to siege up with this huge creep base.
Coon lands on the Luch there. He does not care too much. Has the rest of the team behind him.
Here's Egypt.
Going for a big flank. Gets a great initiation. Shockwave comes through as well, but Luch lives. Will he die at the back lines? No. Great shielding coming out. They've already got 1 kill. Raze is hopping around, getting good damage on the front lines, but will be flayed back into the team. Forces his own flash. They destroy Spooks. They've almost killed Swiper as well. Let's see if the Chiefs can continue to defend. There are low health bars on Abyss. Rosie! He gets the Mad Life Hook. Will knock back Swiffer, and Raid goes on a rampage.
And that might be game. There are 2 members of the Chief left alive. It's going to be Raze, it's going to be Swiper, but all 5 members of Abyss are storming into their base with Baron Buff.
This is going to be the first inhibitor that falls for Abyss. They can taste it, but they have to be careful. This was the position they put themselves in the first time they took on the Chiefs.
They're going to play it safe. They're just going to take double inhibitors, Fish. They don't want to rush into anything. Such a conservative play. There was 30 seconds left on the Superstar mid laner, but instead they back away. They're going to look top lane. And the Chiefs now back against the wall. 6,000 gold down. And wow, what a play out of Rosie. 2 crucial hooks secured in that team fight.
My goodness, that was a big fight coming out from Abyss. And Egypt looked like he got the great flank. Swiffer nailed Luch with the shockwave. But all the heals, all the shields were enough to keep him alive.
And you can see what the gold now is doing. Just the little break item points. We've got the Void Staff completed for Luch. It isn't completed right now for Swiffer. They're going to have to give him some gold off this mid lane. As we take a look at it, Luch looked like the dissonance didn't hit him maybe, and was able to survive. Turns around, gets big damage out onto Swiper, and you can see that's the first hook. Nails Raze. He has to flash away. Then all of a sudden, Swiffer steps up, looking aggressive. Rosie's going to hook him as well in a second after that goes down. There we go. Flash. Mad Life him, as you said. Here we go. Last team fight of the game.
Let's see if Chiefs put up a last stand here. Baron Buff still working very well for Abyss. They get good chunk damage on top lane inhibitor.
It's hard to put up a last stand here, Fish, because you have no flashes available. Only Spooks' flashes up. So everyone else has to start the fight on the back foot.
You have to remember Abyss have double locket as well. That's what kept Luch alive. Although they don't stack very effectively, just like the heal summon spell doesn't stack very well, it still gives you another shield to add on to the first one. Let's see if Abyss can keep either Raid or Luch alive again. Turret's very low.
Egypt. That's who we need to watch right now. Didn't go on that wave, which means that the Chiefs now have to go clear out double super creeps. They can just step up and tank this if they want.
Let's see if they do, because this turret's low. No Baron buff left for Abyss, so they can't run Baron buff minions in to the inhibitor here.
They're going to go.
Oh, Raze has been brought down to the bottom lane. So this is another turret falling. 3rd inhibitor should fall for Abyss here. Chiefs, they need to pick a fight somewhere.
It's now or never. They've got the ball on Egypt again. Instead,
here he goes, jumps in, only gets an initiation to the front line. Shockwave will come out big, and Luch gets shut down. So the team fight starts well for the Chiefs. Egypt will fall, but it's a support for a mid laner. And if you're the Chiefs, you should be happy with that.
You certainly should be, but there are still super creeps wailing away on their base turret. So unless Swiffer has a miracle play available here, this last inhibitor will fall down.
Let's see what he can do. Shockwave is still down for Swiffer. But that will come up shortly. There is a visual bug, so we can't see the exact cooldown on it. But with blue buff, as well as late game Orianna,
here we
should
go.
be enough. Raze is going into the back lines. Good spears onto Seb. Pabu tries to separate the team. Raze gets attacked by Raid quite a few times. Swiper jumps in. Raid has to jump out, but Raze pulls out the spears from Pabu, gets another kill, and chases out the rest of Abyss.
Yeah, and the Chiefs all of a sudden are now playing good Team League of Legends again. They're able to repel, and they've managed to keep both of their Nexus turrets alive, Fish. got to keep that super creep off it. One more Hodo will actually take it down. No, he's all right. So really nicely played there, although Raid 7-1-5 is an absolute monster. This is another game where Raid is up in gold over Raze and should be able to carry for the Abyss Esports Club.
Luch is up in gold as well, so is the jungler. It's only Swiper at the moment that's ahead of Pabu still. Even in the support position, it's 2,000 gold advantage for Rosie.
But the big thing is that Ejim is making Swiffer's job so easy. Every single time he dives into that back line.
He's got double speed up items, so that kind of answers Tegan's question earlier.
There you go, that's why he has a Sightstone, because the active cooldown is going to be reduced. I think it's 10%. And at this stage, getting him into the back line is so much more important.
If you're a Abyss fan, although you're in the lead, you've got to be a bit nervous. Raid, you've got to be a bit nervous still, because this was the exact position Abyss found themselves in. Raid was 7 kills up, ahead of Raze, knocking on the door of the Nexus.
Pabu, face check? Oh, doesn't. Good ward.
And just like that, Chiefs put out one defense. They defended the Nexus the first time. The second time they defended it again, and then they won the game. So Abyss have to clean out this game, because Chiefs have done it before, and they know they can do it again.
Certainly do. However, big creep wave bottom that Swiper probably has to start heading back to defend. Here we go.
Oh, Ejim with the big initiation. Luch gets destroyed once again. Wombo combo if I've ever seen one. Seb's the next target. Swiper gets into the back lines, and that's 2 kills for the Chiefs.
The Chiefs are so decisive in their team fighting right now. As soon as Ejim says go, they just go. And all of a sudden, they're going to be able to start up at Baron, although you can see that Abyss, they want to threaten. They want to say, if you're going to go to Baron, we're going to take your base. I think this is such a brilliant call out of Abyss, because they might be able to double inhibitor them. You can see Ejim head back, Swiffer heads back with Swiper, but Raze and Spooks are still on Baron, so it is a 3v3.
So Abyss will trade 2 kills, an inhibitor for Baron, but Chiefs, top lane inhibitor respawns, mid lane has respawned, and Baron buff will allow Swiper to split push against these super minions.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a fantastic trade for the Chiefs. They come out and win that one. They've equaled the gold again. Might have caught Pabu here. Has to cancel his recall. Instead will just run away. He's a very, very tanky man. But Raid, again, wasn't in a position to deal any damage that fight. If you saw what happened, big 3-man Shockwave onto the front line as well as Luch. He's playing too far forward at the moment. Ejim's catching him out. And that meant that, you know, Raid was sitting at the back. He didn't know who to hit. Swiper dives in, and everyone just scatters to the win. I think the call to get an inhibitor at the least was a fantastic call. Brilliant little piece of shot calling, probably out of Rosie. But they need to be worried as this game progresses that Orianna, once she gets death cap, will blow up either Raid or Luch every single time they hit him. And Ejim is so far behind them.
And Luch needs to play back. That's 2 fights in a row. He's been
Here
on the
we
front
go.
lines.
He's going to go for it.
He's getting the back lines. Will be able to lock down Raid. He uses the QSS to get out, but Pabu, so many spears stuck into him. 7 initiates. Good knockup coming up from the Poppy, but Raze is going further forward. First kill picked up onto Pabu. Hook back Spooks. That'll be a trade. Abyss still want to re-engage here.
Yeah, see whether they can. They have to remember that Swiffer still has Shockwave, so you can't chase over the ball willy-nilly. You can see that they're very aware of that fact, are backing away, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Top laner for jungle.
Let's see what they do. Raze is playing on the side here, farming up some of the Raptors. QSS down for both 80 carries, used at about the same time.
Heal available for Raid, not available for Raze. However, double lifesteal item does make his job a little bit easier.
Does. Swipe is a big tank now. He's completed the major items for Renekton. Abyss still trying to march towards the Chiefs' base despite the fact they're against Baron buff.
Ejim has his Righteous Glory, no ultimate, however. So I think that they're just going to delay here, Fish. I think that we're going to get a little bit of a reset. The Chiefs certainly wanted more than just the 1 kill onto the tankiest member.
This game's on a knife edge. The gold is even, but it's 18 kills to 10 and 9 turrets to 3. The Chiefs have equalized this goal lead purely through CS and Baron takes.
Exactly right. However, Swiffer's just gone back and got a death cap, and Luch hasn't got his yet, Fish. Oh, but they're caught out. Oh, Kallista's so annoying. Teleport, though.
Pabu in the backline tackles. Swiffer gets the W up, but he takes so much damage for that. Way too deep coming out from the tank.
Raze is in trouble.
Will get hit by the Chaos Storm, but a couple of auto attacks and he's back to full health.
Okay, maybe he's not.
And now Abyss are the ones that have to be careful. That's big. Summon has been burnt by Pabu. Rosie missed the hook there as well. They have to back away.
Super Minions again. Marching on the door of the Chiefs. Pulls back both the carries, and Abyss are trying to threaten once again. This is really dangerous, but it could pay off.
Certainly is, but Seb's doing a great job of just absorbing skill shots on the front line right now. Every single time a Cocoon goes out, it's hitting Seb. You can see Ejim once again looking for a big flank. Not going to get it. So we have a successful disengage. Look at top wave. It's massive right now for the Abyss Esports Club.
Still remember Super Minions.
Sorry, Abyss Esports. The Chiefs are the only club, I think.
There is a big wave bottom as well, and that's a Super Minion wave. So that will slowly crash towards the Chiefs base. But again, both teams disengage, even in gold. Reset the map once again.
All right, who gets to sell boots first? That's the big question. Don't think the AP carries will do it this game because they're not really.
I think it's.
Ooh, Swiffer.
Has to be careful. Has started his blue buff. They're going to
Here
collapse.
we go. They're going for it.
Spooks might sacrifice himself for the greater good.
Needs to flash the wall, probably. Does.
Good out. So worth it almost.
Blue buff for a flash. As it's a least flash, I would actually say worth. Because that's a lot of extra ability power for Swiffer.
So my thoughts are, this lane of the game, Tristana can afford to sell her boots.
Yep.
I don't think Raze can. I think it needs all the movement speed possible.
Attack speed gives you movement speed, kind of.
Kind of. But when you're up against a Poppy, he's going to lock you down.
But Poppy hasn't been able to get to Raze lately.
True.
I mean, Poppy has been absorbing so much damage on the front line. They've sent members back to base. Chiefs can start this one up. This is a big Elder Drag if they can get it, Fish.
They are going to start it.
Ejim on the side.
They put good spears into it, so Abyss have to force it. They do. Pabu jumps in, knocks
Oriana.
up Swiffer, but can't do anything else. And Swiffer's still alive. Backs out for the first fight.
Ejim
Ejim
gets it
jumps
all.
in. Big shockwave comes out from Swiffer as well. Raid, however, is somehow still alive. He jumps over the wall, but Abyss, the rest of the team is being dismantled. Seb will fall as well. Now it's going to be Elder Dragon picked up. It's a quadra kill picked up too, coming out from Raid, and only Raid left alive.
Yeah, and that might actually be game. There is so long on these death timers. The Chiefs, they can send Swiper back. They can now march mid lane, still have teleport up, and can look to close. What a massive play out of Ejim. His Rakan is absolutely next level and has been able to get onto multiple members of Abyss time and time again.
And this is why we said, don't ban the Echo, ban the Rakan if Chiefs are not going to first pick their support in the first draft phase.
Yeah, he just shouldn't have it this game. You can see that also Raze nearly has his ultimate back available. So this could be another pick.
Yep.
I like the fact that Raid's just backed away, wait the 8 seconds. Chiefs aren't even going to get an inhibitor off this Fish.
Nope.
They just haven't gone for it.
And that's
Instead, break the base and get out.
That was the difference. If Abyss won that team fight, it's game over. There are no inhibitor turrets left. However, Chiefs have so many turrets to take down in this match.
And look at Ejim. He's standing on the side. Rosie knows. Throws out the hook. It misses. Then Pabu goes for the flash engage onto Swiffer. And this looks like it's going to be so bad, but they pull in Ejim and they send him into the middle of the team. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of them get hit by the shockwave just as Swiffer falls down. And that is enough for Raze to start hopping around the back line and putting sticks into people and absolutely taking over the game.
Yeah. No idea where the follow-up was for Pabu as soon as he slams Swiffer into the wall. You have to think that's Gravity Field as well as Chaos Storm dropped.
Luch just should have flashed forward and tried to blow him up.
Did not. No Zhonya's Hourglass picked up by either mid laner as well. Only
Swiffer's
Spooks has
sold
one.
an item. Is it going to be Zhonya's pick up? No, it's going to be Banshees. I don't know exactly what he sold.
Yep, something's gone.
Something's gone.
Doesn't matter. Probably a Doran's Ring or something. But Abyss are going to continue to, hold the fort. It's 80,000 gold, so the gold lead is practically irrelevant at this stage.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when you get to about 38 minutes, your carries have generally got their items. Anything past that, it's just luxury items for, tanks and supports. However, Elder Drake is a big new story.
Yep, Elder Drake was picked up by the Chiefs.
They're going to trade again. This is a bad trade. Chiefs do it so quickly, and they're just going to recall. Empowered recalls are OP Fish.
Abyss might be able to pick up one inhibitor.
They're getting nothing.
Oh, no. They back off, and Ejim looking for the flank already. Has Baron buff picked up by the Chiefs. They still have a bit of Elder Dragon to work with.
And you can see that every single time Ejim looks for a play, Rosie goes fishing. And eventually, Rosie will hit him, or Ejim will just win the game. Because that's what it's coming down to now. Those Rakan engages are legitimately what are keeping the Chiefs alive and breathing. Ooh. Got him.
Lands on the Ejim. He gets a big shield from Oriana. No one wants to engage in that Rakan. He has over 3,000 health.
Exactly right. He's a tank now in his own right. giving cooldown reduction and armor to Righteous Glory. It was an interesting choice, Fish.
Charges into the base. This inhibitor is going to fall shortly for the Chiefs, and they back up with that objective.
Yeah, need to make sure they don't run into a Chaos Storm or something over the side of the wall. They will go the long way around for Swiffer. Now they'll look to pressure bottom lane. So it looks like Elder Drake is out, but Baron's still up.
Another turret falls, so this can't defend that one. No flank wards to try and pressure this bottom lane for Pabu. Let's see if Abyss do go for a fight. Ejim waiting on the side. He wants to go. Flashes the wall. Luch flashes straight away. Drops that gravity field in the middle of nowhere. Scared for that Rakan. Who jumps back in. And he gets Pabu on the front lines of that. He wants to engage but can't find the opportunity to go in. Inhibitor turret has fallen, but Inhibitor is still very healthy for Abyss.
Yeah, I think they have to play this one carefully, Fish, because one...
Woo! Big knockup from Ejim. Will lock down Luch, but he's still alive. Shockwave lives, but Luch, he's going to be taken down by Swiper. Still, too much damage comes through. Hook goes wide for Rosie to start the reinitiation. Can they push for this Nexus?
Yeah, see whether they can get it done. Swiper can just recall. Chiefs can corral super minions into the base, or they can go top lane where there is a massive creep wave and they can just play this one slowly. But I feel with 40 seconds still on Luch, they should be going for the game now.
Let's see if they do. Luch again. Shockwave whiff, but he still got killed in that fight. Now Chiefs on towards Nexus turrets. They lock down Ejim. Raid's going to jump over. Great Poppy W coming out from Pabu. Keeps Raid alive. He's battering away at Swiper, but first Nexus turret falls. Ultimate from Seb separates the team, but they're onto Nexus turret number 2. Raid wants to find an avenue to attack, but the Chiefs are zoning this Tristana incredibly well.
They certainly are, but they need to wait for their next creep wave. It is 20 seconds until Luch is back available. Spooks has no health. We'll see whether the Chiefs still stick around for this one.
Let's see what they do. Pabu going for the fight. Big slam onto Raid. He's knocked back in. Raid is left untouched, but now it's going to be collapsed upon. Hook lands on the Spooks. Double kill picked up by Raid. Raid looking for it. Flashes the shockwave, but Raid is still so healthy. Shutdown comes out from Swiffer. Luch wants to try his best, but he's going to get destroyed and sent back into respawn. The Chiefs have turned around this game. It was a long, hard-fought battle, but they pick up game 1 against Abyss.
And you can see that the Chiefs worked for every minute of that comeback victory. But that must feel good because finally they've shown some resilience on stage. They've been able to get that monkey off their back and they've pulled out one of those gutsy wins that you need to be able to have to play playoff League of Legends, Fish. Abyss, once again, terrific early game, but they just cannot put that final nail in the coffin.
And it was set on the desk. I mean, the difference between the two junglers. Seb is an early game jungler at the moment. Got the ball rolling for Abyss nice and early. Spooks, however, farmed up. Late game, his cocoons were massive in locking down Luch. But still, again, it's happened for Abyss. The first time was against the Chiefs. Last time they played against each other. Same scenario. All inhibitor turrets down, can't win the game. Against Legacy, similar situation. They're playing out of their minds, but they just can't find a win.
And I hate to bring a game back to pick bans, especially when it goes for 50 minutes. But why the heck do you ban Echo and leave Rakan up? That has blown my mind, because Ejim in those mid-game fights was solo carrying. He was getting 4 members in shockwave range. That no other support can do that, Fish, apart from Rakan. And he was able to just gather them all up and just absolutely line them up for Swiffer to knock down.
Now Drac has a huge task to try and boost the morale of his team, because that was a devastating loss for Abyss. Again, it's just so close.
I mean, especially when Raid is on 6 items on Tristana, a hyper carry like that. This isn't a Jhin game where you can say, you know, I'm hitting the tanks. He was set up for success and unfortunately just couldn't get it done.
Well, that was an amazing game 1. It's only the first game of today. To break it down a little bit further, though, let's send it back to Hingers and the rest of the analysts at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, guys. We are stuck in Groundhog Day here because that, as the caster said, that is exactly the same game as the first time Chiefs and Abyss met earlier this split. And my goodness, just can't close out a game. Sharp. Can't close out a game.
Yeah, that was a bit of... I think I had a heart attack during that game. I actually cannot believe it.
That was way too close for comfort for both teams.
Yeah.
That was a crazy game.
Well, if you're... I mean, look, let's just talk broadly, right? If you're a team... I mean, look, coaches aren't there in the room with them when they're playing, but if your team is knocking on their Nexus, they've literally taken down all the inhibitors, they're like what is going through that team's mind that they aren't able to like close out the game then? Are they just like scared? They want to play safe? What's going on there?
Well, for Abyss, like you could kind of say that they're a newish team. Their roster's newish, and you're going up against a team like Chiefs who are just they're just a veteran lineup, and they know exactly what to do in these stressful situations. Like as long as the game goes plus 35 minutes, you can really bet on Chiefs that they're going to make the correct macro game decisions, whereas Abyss are just going to falter and stumble around, which is exactly what we saw.
Yeah, I think it was very similar to the first game of Abyss vs Chiefs. Like poor lane assignments, poor decision making from Abyss. Yeah, they could have ended the game at one point, but they decided to take the safe route to double in him. But they played way too safe and let them have some breathing room. Chiefs got it back on their feet. They used the Rakan ultimate into the Orianna Shockwave, and boom goes Luch. He just disappears.
So a couple of things I want to talk about here. I know Tigum brought it up in the. I know you guys want to talk about this as well, Destiny. The Ruby Sightstone on Rakan. I mean, I think during the game we were talking about it. We're not sure about this. Towards the end, it seemed to work because he had so many active items. But what were your thoughts?
I actually prefer the Eye of Oasis build just because you get a lot, like it's less gold efficient, but it's more slot efficient because then you can get more items and actives in the late game instead of just having an 800 Ruby Sightstone. So yeah, and for the composition, I feel you do go, I prefer Locket into Righteous Glory as a Rakan because if they don't die, if they don't get 100-0 by the Victor and Tristana, they win the fight.
Right.
And their goal is to 100-0, so I felt like running at them is better than running back, So
always engage.
Yeah, I preferred the Eye of Oasis build.
Meanwhile, Sharp, I know you had a lot of thoughts on the. Oh, okay. Well, I've just been told we've got replays ready to go. So
yeah,
Sharp, I want you to talk about how this game turned around for Chiefs because they were behind, and then there was one specific moment I know you want to talk about.
Yeah, the fight leading up to the Baron. Here's brought up right here is like. What I don't understand is that Abyss were willing to take this fight even though Luch was out of mana. And as you can see, Abyss actually engaged this fight with Pabu going in with the ultimate. And here, you can just see, look at Luch. He's got no mana. His ultimate doesn't have much damage. At this point, he was actually sitting on around 2,500 gold. So it actually really confused me as to why Abyss took this fight. And Chiefs just playing to their power spikes. This power spikes on Renekton and Orianna. And then just managed to play as their composition was. And
yeah, it allowed them to get a free Baron. They've got Kalista, they've got Elise. They're two of the fastest champions at doing Baron, and it pretty much, that was their recovery condition. Abyss were in the driver's seat up until that point, and that flipped the game.
So yeah, Luch has over 2,500 gold, almost 3,000 gold on his Victor then. Doesn't base, doesn't buy, and then takes a team fight where even though Abyss are ahead in gold, they're not ahead in items because they've just got a bunch of dead gold on their carries.
Yeah, and one thing also is that Abyss shouldn't feel forced to take this fight. They have the scaling composition comp.
Yeah.
Like they had the composition that had the Poppy, that Gragas who outscales Elise, they had Tristana who also outscales Kalista. I would say that across the board, nearly all their members, maybe apart from the mid and support, actually outscale their counterparts. So it was actually really quite confusing as to why they took that fight.
Thresh to me is an interesting champion because he doesn't necessarily scale because hooks can just take the hooks.
Yeah.
Tanks can just face tank it and they don't die. And I think it was really shown in this game that the Thresh actually popped off. Like in that bot lane fight, he hit hook after hook. They swapped target to target and they just instantly blew them up. Oh, we've got the replay here. So as you can see, Ejim gets a really good flank, but the problem here is that they actually don't 100-0 Luch. Luch is still alive, he's still doing damage, and his Chaos Storm is still wrecking the front line of Chiefs, which is Renekton. So Swiper has to back off, and now a beautiful hook from Rosie onto Raze. Raze pretty much zoned from the fight. And Abyss won this fight just because Luch did not die. He lived throughout all of that, and another flash hook from Rosie. He played really well that fight. That was very clean. I respect Thresh gameplay. That was respectable.
But in terms of keeping Luch alive, then I think Fisher Spawn was saying, look, it's because they have two lockets there. They were Abyss have double lockets, so they just have a bit more heal and they can keep Luch alive. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think the lockets saved that. That's true support. That's a true support duo.
True support team.
Yeah.
The final thing I want to talk about with you, Destiny, is this dragon fight because again it swings back. So we see Abyss take that fight, but then with this one, I mean. Even though Pabu's able to get a great flank, it doesn't go right for them.
Yeah, Ejim's actually, even though Poppy has a flank, Ejim has a flank, but he decides to hop over the wall, and now they just play front to back. Pabu, no one followed up to kill Orianna, and it's like the thing I was saying before, 100-0. They didn't kill Swiffer. Rakan hits a 4-man charm into the Shockwave, and they just win the fight off this. And it was just really good team play and synergy between Ejim and Swiffer to hit that wombo combo up, and it's set their team up for success. Raze popped off. He could hit anyone he wants, and no one was threatening him.
It kind of stems back to the draft. Like, again, like what Spawn was touching on, like, the Echo ban really quite confused me. Why they did not ban the Rakan?
I got the inside scoop on this, because even though the mics weren't working, I did ask Strack about this. He said, look, what we were trying to do with the Echo ban was we were trying to make ourselves safe if we went for this pocket pick, which they didn't end up doing anyway. So I don't know what that pocket pick was. Maybe it's, I don't know what could it be. Maybe it's Heimerdinger. I don't know.
Heimerdinger.
But again, like, using that ban on the Echo really hurt them in the end because, you know, when you see a Kalista in the draft, you automatically assume that, you know, Rakan, Alistar are the two that probably come to mind. But not taking getting that Rakan off the table really hurt them in the end, and it really did, especially throughout the late game. Rakan just completely outscaled Thresh. They managed to utilize the Orianna Rakan combo as well as Kalista Rakan combo. Yeah, and it really did end up was probably one of the biggest factors why they lost those late game team fights.
Yeah, completely agree. I think with Cassiopeia up, Orianna up, all these mid laners are up. Banning Echo, Swiffer isn't known to be an Echo player, so it doesn't really make much sense to me. And with Rakan and Alistar both being up, yeah, I felt like this was a pretty bad decision coming out from Abyss in the draft.
It was kind of weird as well that, I mean, in terms of mid lane picks, it was weird that Swiffer didn't take the Cassio. I would have thought the Cassio, it's up. He's known to be a good player. He's known to like be one of the best Cassios on the server. I mean, it's weird he went for that, didn't go for that and went for the Orianna, don't you think, Sharp?
Well, like thinking about it more, yeah, Orianna would probably be better in the 1v1 if they wanted to play through mid. But given their composition, they've got the setup for Orianna. Yeah. They're able to utilize the ball with the ball carriers. They've got Rakan for the engage. And that follow-up with the Orianna ultimate really did work wonders.
So you're back on the Orianna train. Well, you were never off, sorry.
Yeah, I was never really off.
You convinced me.
Yeah.
Shop's biased, man. He's an Orianna player.
Orianna, man. I love Orianna.
Yeah, I think Cassiopeia could have worked. I felt both champions worked. It's just dependent on player comfort, and I think Swiffer's more comfortable in Orianna, and yeah, I think it showed that game. If they had Cassiopeia, it could have been a completely different game.
You know, speaking as well of Swiffer, I don't want to highlight him too much, but do you feel like Chiefs was struggling early game because Swiffer was behind? Because they like to play through mid. They like to play, like we said, they like to play that spook Swiffer, you know, 2v2 in the mid. But if Swiffer gets behind, I mean, what do they need to learn to play when Swiffer's behind?
Yeah, historically, Chiefs have always played through mid, and I felt like what the biggest factor as to why Chiefs got in their position that they were in was that Elise Spooks wasn't able to get those early ganks off, and wasn't able to get Swiffer in a good spot. And Seb actually being the one to get the first blood on Swiffer, if I recall correctly, really did hurt them. And it's actually quite uncharacteristic of Spooks, especially when he gets that Elise, because he usually does find ways to get those early kills.
Yeah, I think Seb actually pathed, like, from that gank, that first blood gank, was actually pretty smart, because Spooks saw him, and then he immediately went to the other side and went straight for the gank, and Swiffer went for a bad trade and didn't have Spooks hovering him, and it ended up working out really well for them.
I mean, when you look at this, you see Kalista doing a lot of damage. You see Orianna doing a lot of damage. I thought Luch would have done more damage, to be honest. I thought Luch was popping off, but I guess towards the end there, it's just Tristana.
Yeah, Luch got caught a lot in the late game, so he couldn't really get his Chaos Storm down. He just got 100 to 0'd. He was in poor positioning. For the first fight, he didn't have flash, but the second one he did, and he still died. So I think that's why the damage graph is a bit off for him. I do like to highlight Raze. He farmed very well that game.
Like 500 CS
he has 500 CS at 44 minutes, so that's pretty respectable considering how many fights was going on that game. And even Big Swips, he was up a lot of CS. He was 200 CS. That's
double
a double
flame
Horizon.
Double Flame Horizon. Have we seen that in the OPL before? The Double Flame Horizon? Well, wait,
I don't know.
Raid versus Raze. I mean, Raid had a very good game, but he was behind Raze in CS, but I feel like he wasn't able to convert that lead into a lot of damage in these team fights. Oh, this is incorrect. I'm sorry, this graphic is incorrect.
Raid does a lot of damage on this graph. I just like to say that, guy.
I believe there's a bit of a look. There's been some formula mishaps in the backline of the graphics machine today, so we do apologize for that. We got the Buffins working on it as we speak. So if you're Abyss, then I mean, do you just ban the Rakan this time around and hope for the best, or?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a bit tricky because there was a lot of reasons as to why they actually got a decent draft in the end. You know, as you can see, they had the Poppy, which is actually decent. Not only decent into Renekton, it's actually quite good into Kalista as well, and the Rakan. It's actually quite
just briefly break it down for people who are watching who may not know that. Explain to people why the Poppy is so good into
yeah,
this.
so the Poppy W, I don't know the exact name of the Poppy W, but
everyone just calls it W.
yeah, the Poppy
just
W.
the W.
Yeah, that circle actually stops Kalist's auto attacks because it can't actually move. You can't move back and auto attack. And the Rakan as well. It's able to interrupt the E, the Rakan E, and W. So all throughout the game,
just a menace.
Yeah, you actually saw
Two-item menace.
But yeah, the only thing that really struggled, that allowed, that kept Abyss struggling throughout the game was the fact that Poppy was just so far behind in the solo lane. I think he was, as we said before, around 200 CS behind, and that really hurt them in the late game.
Yeah, I think it links to the other thing that I was saying before, how Abyss lane assignments weren't right.
Yeah.
Poppy, I don't know why she was that far behind in CS. Like he got a kill in bot lane when Elise ganked. When Seb ganked for him, he got a kill. So I don't know. It must be miscommunication or they're not on the same page. But that should definitely not happen.
All right, we have a tweet that has come in. Hashtag IMOPL. At VexScream writes in, what do the desk and casters, what are their thoughts on the Urgot rework? Sharp, you're a former top laner in professional leagues. Would you be, now you're a coach, are you gonna put chippies on the Urgot anytime soon?
From what I've seen of it, I don't think it's too hot of a champion at the moment. Its kit doesn't seem too viable in competitive play, but Destiny, what are your thoughts on this?
I honestly prefer the old Urgot. I support King, and he played Urgot at League of Origins, so
he's 0% play rate Urgot.
Yeah,
I am a fan of Crabgot, though. I am a fan of Crabgot, one of my favorite skins.
Really? That's your... yeah?
One of.
Yeah.
All right, we also have a message in here from Twitch chat, so thank you for sending it in. This is from Legos Os, who writes in at OPL for Destiny and Sharp. What do you guys believe contributes to success outside of individual talent? Obviously, you are blessed on the Direwolves lineup with a lot of individual talent, but what factors contribute to success outside of that?
I would say something that's extremely undervalued and not really spoken about is actually team cohesion in terms of being friends with your teammates, and this actually stems to in-game communication. If you guys are comfortable with each other and trust each other outside a game, that's actually going to go right into the game. The way you feel about your teammates and the way you communicate really does translate.
Yeah, as well as being friends, I think communication is important. That links to being friends with people. Like, you have to be able to accept criticism, give criticism, and work as a team. And that links to your mindset as well, because if you don't have a growth mindset, if you're not willing to take it on board, then nothing's going to change. So you really need to you need to play as a team and work as a team. So I think these factors lead to a successful player. And for instance, Dardoch, he's in NA. He's been having constant roster swaps and mainly for his attitude. But yeah, there's a lot of factors outside the game that's not really shown.
So are Direwolves doing a lot of trust exercises back at the Direwolves house, back at the compound? A lot of falling into each other's arms?
Well, we're actually really lucky that everyone actually gets along really well. Like, a lot of our players have been long-term friends and have known each other for a long time. Like, I think even myself... and Fantix and King all played together for a long time. And it actually has really helped the team gel together. And the communication in-game is actually improved. I would say improves at a faster rate than if you weren't friends.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely agree. I was coaching them last split, 2016. So yeah, I got to know them as a coach, and now playing with them, it's a lot easier to talk to them, and it works out really well.
All right, well, if you have any questions for our analysts, hashtag IMOPL about the pick ban draft, you can also submit your questions via Twitch chat. It is time for us to get into our second game of this match. Before we do that, let's check out some highlights from game number 1.
Comes in, knocks in Egypt, but he gets stunned up by Gravity Field. He will fall. Ray jumps into the fight. Good tackle on the wall for Pabu. He's going to get taken down. Abyss will kill the AD carry. Swiper dashes in, takes so much damage. Hook back. Ray gets a reset. Another kill for Abyss. Going for a big flank. Gets a great initiation. Shockwave comes through as well, but Luch lives. Will he die at the back lines? No. Great shielding coming out. They've already got one kill. Raze is hopping around, getting good damage on the front lines, but will be flayed back in the team. Forces his own flash. They destroy Spooks. They've almost killed Swiper as well. Let's see if the Chiefs continue to defend. There are low health bars on Abyss. Rosie! He gets the man life hook. Will knock back Swiffer, and Ray goes on a rampage. Oh, Egypt with the big initiation. Luch gets destroyed once again. Wombo combo if I've ever seen one. Seb's the next target. Swiper gets into the back line, and that's 2 kills for the Chiefs. Big shockwave comes out from Swiffer as well. Raid, however, is somehow still alive. He jumps over the wall, but Abyss, the rest of the team is being dismantled. cancelled. Seb will fall as well. Now it's going to be Elder Dragon picked up. It's a quadra kill picked up too, coming out from Raid, and only Raid left alive. Big slam onto Raid. He's knocked back in. Raid is left untouched, but now it's going to be collapsed upon. Hook lands on the Spooks. Double kill picked up by Raid. Raid looking for it. Flushes the Shockwave, but Raid is still so healthy. Shutdown comes out from Swiffer. Luch wants to try his best, but he's going to get destroyed and sent back into respawn. The Chiefs have turned around this game. It was a long, hard-fought battle, but they pick up game 1 against Abyss.
Welcome back.